Good day. Good day and welcome to Mental Health and You. I'm your host, Cynthia Timms. Well, guys and gals, I want to ask you a question, a really important question. What's in your mental health toolbox? What's in your kit? I know we've talked about this a lot. I mean, this is mental health from you, and we do talk about mental health from a peer perspective. But what's in your toolbox? What's in your toolbox? Is it movies? Is it sailing like mine? Is it reading, dancing, taking a long walk, medication, therapy? And all of these are therapy and therapeutic. But what about humor? What about learning how to laugh? Learning how to laugh even in the midst of tragedy, even in the midst of sadness. Yes, humor, laughter. That's very important components in this mental health journey. And to help me to talk about it more, to sort it out even more, is my guest, Michael Weitzman. Welcome to Mental Health and You, Michael.
Thank you for having me, Cynthia.
Well, thank you. My goodness. Michael, you're a motivational speaker. You're humorous. You're, like myself, a certified peer support specialist. Someone with lived experiences, y'all. We talk about this. But in my introduction, I talked about, in that toolbox, humor. Yes. Being able to laugh. Someone would say, well, what's there much to laugh about with a serious mental health condition? What's there to laugh about in the midst of so much COVID and people losing their jobs and homes? You've been at this a long time. Let's talk about it. What's there to laugh about, Michael? And why do we? Why is it so important?
Well, before I get to the laughter, I just want to just tell you briefly, it wasn't always that way. I suffered for over 40 years and suffered in silence with my mental health condition. It started when I was basically 5 years old. I used to stutter and people made fun of me. So that was a little traumatic. And then at the age of 16, I failed my road test 3 times. I felt like a loser.
Only 3 times? I think I'm at Michael. I think I failed mine about 4, but that's beside the point.
Okay, it's still not good because everyone's asking, "What are you driving? You passed your road test?" I had to isolate. I couldn't go to parties, but people asking me what car you drive, and I couldn't say I didn't pass it, and I felt terrible. And that's where the mental health condition started at the age of 16, and it was brutal until finally I passed it on my 4th time. So then I had a normal childhood, Cynthia. There was nothing, I went through high school, went to college, able to get by, but I was always suffering in silence. I did not come out of the mental health closet. That's what I call it. It took me a long time to finally had a good job in the mortgage industry. I'm making lots of money. How can I be mentally sick or have mental health condition? But I did.
Michael, how did you know it was a mental health condition and not just someone just going through adolescence? Yes, you failed your driver's course, but a lot of kids do that. Well, it was awkward. Teenage years are awkward just by nature.
Yeah, but
when we go through stuff, dating, and we go through, just trying to find ourselves. But what made you believe that this was a mental health condition, different, say, than others?
The reason is that there were certain symptoms that you go through, whether you're 16 or you're 8 or you're 95. It doesn't make a difference. So I had symptoms of had anger. I was doing this, beating myself up, having no self-esteem issues. Self-esteem, had none. I had negative thoughts. I would isolate, like a lot of people have done during the pandemic. They would isolate. So these are the symptoms that I went through, but I never went to get help because of the stigma that people would think. But my parents they knew what I was going through, but they didn't know. I didn't get help. It took me really with all these symptoms, with anger and not being sad and all these symptoms that you go through with your mental health condition. And I do not call it a mental illness. I don't like the word illness, and I don't like the word disorder. It's a mental health injury, like my good friend Dr. Rob Kelly, or a mental health condition, or a mental health challenge. But this one is more that it became diagnosis. But at the time, I didn't get help.
So, Michael, wasn't there not a counselor or a teacher, or you may not want to go to your parents, or your parents maybe couldn't understand, but was there other people in your life, in your circle, perhaps you could trust?
Well,
a teacher, a guidance counselor, family doctor, someone, a good friend.
Support. That is the biggest thing. Support.
Yes.
Parents were my biggest support staff when I suffered in silence for over 25 years. Even when I was married with 2 young daughters, I suffered in silence, and I did not come out of the mental health closet. Even though I was making a lot of money, it didn't matter because sometimes the money would stop as commission-based, and I was nervous and worried. How am I going to support my family? How am I going to pay for my kids? So that was when, after 25 years, I came out of the mental health closet to work on my recovery. And what did I do? I did go see a psychiatrist. I did get a therapist. I did start with medicine. So I'll give you an example. Here's just some of the medicine I took. And I did that for over 15 years. I call it the triangle. Here it is. Psychiatry, meds, talker, therapist, who I use. So 25 years suffering in silence, 15 years getting the help, working on recovery.
Yes.
And during that time, I eventually was in 6 psychiatric hospitals, 4 outpatient units, 22 ECT treatments, shingles on my face twice in 2006 in 9 months, and a suicide attempt on January 2nd, 2008, I tried to take my life. So this was all during those 15 years trying to work on my recovery, and I still didn't get mentally well.
What helped you? What finally helped you? What finally opened up for you? I mean, we've talked about it, but talk to the audience. Talk with the audience. What helped you?
It was that got me to the promised land after suffering in silence for over 40 years when I went into a psychiatric hospital. And I went into a psychiatric hospital on October 16th, 2014. But on August 11th, 2014, I'll move my head out of the way. There he is, Robin Williams, as I call it, suicide, or Lewy body dementia, took Robin Williams' life. So while I went into my psychiatric hospital, my 6th one, I started to say, you know what? This time I'm going to get and stay mentally well. But this time I'm going to be a spokesman. I'm going to be a comedian. I'm going to be a speaker, performer, and advocate, and do something about helping people. But I just had to get and stay mentally well. And
what was it about Patch Adams, though? What was it about Robin Wood that touched you?
In the movie,
what was it that resonated with you?
In the movie Patch Adams, it had a similar situation where he connected with somebody. And when I was in my psychiatric hospital, I connected that I said, wow, I'm going to work on the 3 amigos of mental health. So I came up with a workshop presentation called the 3 amigos of mental health while in a psychiatric hospital. I came up with things called bipolar McGum. I do a routine. There's no such thing as bipolar McGum. I came up with joy instead of almond joy. It's mental joy. I use humor, of course, as one of my biggest wellness tools. I would have talked about brain, that it's just the brain. I talked about getting rid of the stigma, talk about acceptance and opening up about your mental health and telling your struggles, telling your inspirational mental health stories. And that's what I did while I was in a psychiatric hospital. But I also came up with the most important thing was the wellness toolbox, which you alluded in the beginning of your show. In my wellness toolbox, I have things that I do. I have a daily planned list that I do every day. If I'm really suffering with my mental health, which I'm not anymore, I'll go over that in a second. I deal with meditation, deep breathing exercises, affirmations, creed, prayer, God, Bible, acupuncture, hypnosis, inspirational movies, self-improvement tapes, Wayne Dyer, all these different things. So the wellness tools, we're getting there, but the biggest of the wellness tools right over there using humor, laughter, and smiles as my biggest wellness tool while I was in the psychiatric hospital. And when I got discharged on October 29th, 2014, I just made it a practice to work on my workshop, make it better, speak and perform all over to help people. That it doesn't matter what's going on with you. You're just as equal to everyone else if you're suffering or suffering in silence with your mental health condition. And the third amigo, so the first is someone suffering with a mental health condition. That's the first amigo of mental health. The second amigo is someone suffering in silence with their mental health, which is the biggest issue that we need to get people about their mental health and come out of the mental health closet. And the third amigo is someone that's not suffering. I go to them, congratulations and mazel tov. But those are the ones that are ignorant, that don't know what it tastes like and what it feels like to have a mental health condition. And I'm trying to educate all the three amigos to help and support one another to be friends, amigos. So the three amigos of mental health came out of a workshop from a psychiatric hospital, and I just, I haven't looked back. That is really the whole point of it. I go over so many things in my workshop. And like you said before, you were asking me, why do you want to have humor? Seriously, why do you want to have humor, laughter, and smiles in your life? You have any idea?
Well, for me, humor has been a source of inspiration over the years. It has been life. Sometimes, Michael, I laugh to keep from crying. Humor has kept me alive, even in the midst of heartache. I mean, when I laugh, I feel better physically. I feel better emotionally. I like to be around people who laugh. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, absolutely. I like to be around people who have a sense of humor, who know how to laugh, who appreciate a good laugh. It's nothing like being around a deadbeat. My goodness. Someone who doesn't know, who doesn't get it, even in the midst of trials and tribulations.
And it's tough.
It is.
When you're suffering, it's tough to try to watch humor or do humor. But the reasons for it, here are the reasons. This is the reason, and these are part of the workshop that I speak and perform. It's all about what? Serotonin, dopamine, endorphins. They lift your mood. That warm and fuzzy happiness feeling. It releases reward when you listen to a joke and you laugh. What else is there good for? It boosts the immune system. It boosts relationships. It reduces and dulls and kills the pain. Alleviates stress. It's a natural beauty enhancer. Look, that one. It produces empathy. It's contagious. You start laughing, start laughing. It's the way to success. If someone wants to go for a job interview, as long as the joke is not offensive, use humor. It's also increases productivity. I want to speak to Amazon, Walmart. 1 out of 4 people that work there suffers with a mental health condition that's diagnosed. What about the one suffering in silence? It helps you, like you said before, improves your well-being. And the biggest reason you want to have humor, laughter, and smiles in your life, Cynthia, is because it will make you live a longer life. You know how I know that? I Googled it. Just kidding. You got Bob Hope lived to 100, Merton Burl. You got all these people. But the point is, You want to have humor and laugh in response to life. Now, here's what I'm going to ask you, and I do everybody when I do podcasts. How many times does a 4-year-old laugh and smile during the day? Come on.
I'd say over 50.
Well, it's between a 4-year-old laughs between 300 and 400 times a day. That's a 4-year-old.
Well, that's a lot of laugh. That's a lot of laughter.
Well, how many times does a 40-year-old laugh?
Well, what are they laughing at? I hope that are they laughing at with us or about us? You know,
a 40-year-old laughs between 3 and 12 times a day. That's not much. That's why we need to have humor, laughter, and smile in your life. You want to watch movies like Patch Adams. You want to watch. It's not a comedy movie, but it's a movie about improving your quality of life. No matter what is going on with you, whether it's a mental health condition, whether you have cancer, whether you have a disability, whether you have a chronic illness, you have dementia, you still deserve to have a quality of life no matter what is going on with you. That's part of the movie. I tell people, watch Patch Adams. It's beautiful. And you watch funny movies. Watch a great movie called Good Will Hunting. That's where Robin Williams won the Academy Award Best for Supporting Actor. It's an amazing movie. And the thing you need to know, which is very important, that there's no fault or shame or guilt if you suffer with a mental health condition or you have an addiction or you have suicide thoughts. That's the whole thing. It's strength that you come out and tell your story and get the help you need.
Wow. Get the help you need. Get the help you need. Increase your support system, your good support system, because not everyone and everything is good for you. So it's very important, I've found in my journey, just as a peer specialist, just as someone who's been a consumer, having the right support system is good for you. Humor. You know, you talked about Robin Williams, and he is brilliant. But I think going back to my days in film school, when I was, I dare say, forced to look at a lot of movies that I, regularly would not look at. For me, I fell in love with Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, I love Charlie too.
I fell in love with Limelight. Subsequently watching a lot of those movies, Limelight. I fell in love with the movie he did back in the City Lights, The Tramp, The Character.
Yep.
So I'm talking about somebody, even in the midst of tragedy, was able to laugh and find humor in everyday things and able to spread that humor. And I think about, and just sharing that with you. I think about Robin Williams. When I first saw him was on Mark and Mindy back in the day when I was still in high school. And I said to myself, wow. And I thought this was a little slapstick, you know what I'm saying? A little Lauren and Hardy, a little, but it was something there that kept me tuned in. And like you, I went to look at other movies. It made me want to look at other movies. Patch Adams, Good Morning Vietnam. What's some of the other, even some of his non-comedy movies, yes.
Awakening.
More serious movies, yes.
See, the reason I'm in the mental health field.
Yes, indeed.
Of Robin Williams, because of what he did. I got very sick when suicide or Lewy body dementia took his life, and I lost it. And I went into my sixth psychiatric hospital, and then I came out. Now I'm almost 7 years staying mentally well. From what? Using humor, wellness tools, having a spiritual life coach, walking, exercise, watching other types of movies, watching a movie with Bradley Cooper, and Jennifer Lawrence, Silver Lining Playbook. It's a bipolar love story. It's mental health. Mental health movies. There's so many mental health movies out there too. I like Green Book, deals with race. That's another thing. So many types of movies that can inspire you. What is it all about, ladies and gentlemen? It's about being educated, inspired, and laughing. That's what I want. That's the most important thing. And like you said before, like we all have struggles. What is life experiences, ladies and gentlemen? It's all about what? It's having struggles, disappointments, situations, circumstances, and then how do you deal with it? And then that becomes your strength and your triumphs. That's the key. That you can still come from disappointment, failing a road test three times, or losing that job, or being committed to a hospital several times. Yeah. All these different things, or disappointments, or situations and circumstances. But how do you grow from there? So life experiences are good and bad, but it helped me. Doing podcasts for you, doing webinars and seminars, this is therapy for me, telling my struggle for 40 years with my mental health condition. And now I've stayed mentally well almost 7 years. And now I'm speaking. I'm on TV. I'm on radio. I'm trying to be a nationally known speaker, mental health speaker and advocate to what?
Yes.
Make a difference in people's lives. So I can help everyone with a bigger platform. It's not about the money. Yeah, if I make some more money, great. But it's not important about money. It's about what are you going to use your passion in giving value, in helping others. That's what Michael Weitzman's all about. Bipolar no longer. And let's not forget, Mrs. Staying Alive, my character, who auditioned for America's Got Talent 3 times, did not get on, even though I killed the judges with my humor. Mrs. Staying Alive, the White Medea, is all about what? Mrs. Staying Alive, she's all about what? Getting rid of the stigma of mental health or mental illness. And also my little tribute to the amazing Robin Williams. It's Patch Adams meets Robin Williams. Patch Adams meets Mrs. Doubtfire. That's Mrs. Staying Alive. And it's all about equality, diversity, and inclusion for all types of people, whether they have a mental health condition, a disability, physical, chronic illness, or whatever's going on with you. Having dementia, you're older, doesn't make you bad. You need and deserve to have a quality of life. And you can feel the passion that comes out of my mouth, because that's the virus you want. You want Michael Weitzman, bipolar, Mrs. Staying Alive virus to go inside your body so I can help you with your mental health, addiction, and suicide. So that's the virus that I'm contagious and infectious to help you with your mental health and beyond.
And it's okay to laugh. I want people to also know it's okay. You know, Michael, I used to feel guilty because I used to feel guilty for laughing sometimes when I was deep in the midst of depression and anxiety. It almost was strange to me because I hadn't laughed in such a long time. So when I found myself laughing at a movie, you know, reading a book, listening to a song that resonated with me, it was almost like, it was strange. And it was like, oh my God, Cynthia, you're going through this, you're going through that. What right do you have to even be happy? So when I gave myself permission, and I'm still trying to give because this thing is a work in progress. I'm still trying to give myself permission to laugh, to recognize that I deserve to be happy, even in the midst. Being happy is just not just for a certain few. Being happy can be just for all of us. Yes, we may not have all that we want to have, but we come from such a long way. I'm not where I want to be, Michael, but I'm not where I used to be either.
No,
why?
You will get there. You will get there.
You will get there.
My wellness.
What has helped me? What has been in those 3 amigos? Your 3 amigos. We talk about that again. 3 amigos of mental health. You mentioned, talk about that.
It's all about the 3 amigos of mental health. Either you're suffering with your mental health condition, either you're suffering in silence with your mental health condition, or you're not suffering at all. Which one are you? I've been all 3. And the key is, for me, like I said, it's this. It's the wellness toolbox. That's it. So what are my 3 top wellness tools? Ready?
Yes.
God, Jesus, and humor. Those are my 3 biggest, in that order. God, Jesus, and humor. God is a wellness tool. Jesus, if you want that to be, is a wellness tool. It is for me, a Jewish man that accepted Jesus. I love it. That's what I want. That's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are the wellness tools. Try things if you're not feeling good and you're sick with your depression and all the anxiety and the stress that you're going through. Work on these wellness tools. Try everything that you can. That's what I've done, and use humor as my biggest wellness tool. And I'm never going to stop, because that is really important. All these different wellness tools. But, you know, I'll give you one right now. You heard of Match? Do you ever hear of Match.com?
Yes.
Site? Well, they have a new site called MatchMD.com, and those are for people that have mental disorders. So on the normal site, Cynthia, I find a woman that has blonde hair and blue eyes and likes to dance. But on this other site, I find a woman that pees a lot, has mood swing problems, and anger management issues. You know what?
What?
I'm in love. Yeah, I'm in love. Yeah. And I'm going unsteady. Get it? Going unsteady. Have fun with it. Don't make fun. Have fun.
I thought when Michael, I thought you was going, when you said MD.com, I thought it was a site for doctors.
No.
But be that as it may, in the time that we have left, where can people find you? Where can people find you if they want to reach out to you?
Well, they can get me on YouTube, Michael Weitzman, at Weitzman Michael, on Instagram, Twitter, at MWeitzman3. I'm on LinkedIn, and my best one is mweitzman3@gmail.com. And they can also call me at 914-523-5766. I'm helping people all over the country, from the UK, India, Pakistan. It doesn't make a difference. We have Zoom now and all these different places. I can help so many more people with their mental health to get and stay mentally well. And I make it cool, fun, and sexy to talk and work on your mental health and your mental health challenges.
Well, being funny is always sexy. It is always cool, and it's always mentally sound. But be that as it may, Michael, we're going to have to wrap it up. But thank you. We're going to have to come back to part 2. But thank you so much for enlightening us, educating us, making us feel good. And for Mental Health and You, y'all, what's in your wellness box? Hopefully, if it's not yet, put some humor in it, or find somebody who's going to make you laugh. Until next time, peace and blessings. This has been Mental Health and You. Take care.